a new episode of the podcast, and it is a Tuesday that I'm recording this, and I think I'm real excited today. Actually, I know I'm real excited today. We've got a couple stories you need to know. I've got a couple of them. Normally, it's a story you need to know. Today, I've got 3 stories you need to know, so we'll get to those in a moment. I will tell you today, recording this from home, a little later than the past couple of days. Last week, I had to record all these things at about 4:10 a.m. because I was working in the studio last week. And today, I'm back home, working from home again. And I got to tell you, working at home, working at work at at an office for me, it's not my thing. I am so easily distracted by other people. I get so much more done at my house than I do at the building. The building has Dalton, who I can talk video games to. The building always had people coming by the studio to talk about Zags. See, the amount of Zags I talked last week with people was crazy. The amount of conversations I wanted to listen into was crazy. I found myself just hanging at work, just hanging when I was supposed to be doing stuff. Someone would give me some work, and I would say, "Yeah, I'll get right on this." At home, I just do it. I just get right on it. I finish the work, I do it, and I focus on it. I do a good job at work. I was like, I need to bang this out as fast as possible so that I can get back to another conversation with someone here about God of War. So it's nice to be home because I know today I'll actually get work done, but now I'm going to have to get back to my texting with the people from the office that I like. Either way, instead of recording this at 4:10, it's 4:50. So I've got a little extra pep to my vocal step today on the pod. Okay, stories you need to know. There's 3 of them today. And I'm trying to figure out what order I want to do this in. I think I'm going to start with the one that was the big story yesterday. And you either heard about it yesterday, you'll hear about it today. Daft Punk, the electronic dance music band, split up after 28 years. And it's so funny because it was a big story yesterday. They were trending at the top of the charts. Tippy top of the charts was Daft Punk. 28 years split. That's huge, by the way, just the 28 years. Nearly 3 decades. You're together making music, making your electronic dance music, and you split up at the end of that. Of course, they did it as in a Daft Punk way where they had a video of one of them blowing up. They're interesting. Now, if you don't know who Daft Punk is, they make electronic dance music, and they were the guys who always wore the robot heads. Okay, so every time you would see them, it eventually turned into shiny robot heads. Originally, it was white, almost stormtrooper style white robot heads. And it's funny because they are a big deal, and they're a name that a lot of people have heard in the music world, but I got to tell you, the only reason I liked Daft Punk was because I thought it was cool to like Daft Punk. I could name maybe 3 of their songs. They have Get Lucky, they have Harder, Faster, Stronger. I'm missing a word in there. It makes it harder and faster, stronger. Harder, something, faster, stronger. So I know 2.5 of their songs. The other one is Defunk, which is my favorite Daft Punk song. It's dang, 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 dang. I did that wrong too. I'm not a Daft Punk lover. I didn't spend a lot of time listening to electronic dance music, but I'm not dumb enough to avoid the fact that I know they're really important in that genre. Plus, they had really cool collabs. They had a song on Random Access Memory. Besides Get Lucky with Pharrell, they had a song with Julian Casablancas, and I'm a big Strokes guy, so I love Julian Casablancas, and I thought that song was really cool. But it was funny because I saw the news yesterday. I was like, "Oh, dang, Daft Punk's splitting up. They were so cool," and I realized they were so cool. But I know 2.5 of their songs, 3.5 of their songs with the Julian Casablancas song. I just don't know the name of that at all. But it's crazy. 3 years they were making music. And the thing I found the most intriguing about Daft Punk in this society, in the society of fame, and Instagram and fame, and selfies and fame, Daft Punk did it behind a mask the whole time, which that was hilarious, by the way. The tweet yesterday made me laugh so hard. Daft Punk did their job. Daft Punk wore masks for 3 decades. You can wear a mask to get a tomato. That tweet made me laugh yesterday. That was my favorite Daft Punk tweet of the day. But they did it behind masks for 3 decades, to the point where it wasn't just at their concerts. You never saw Daft Punk anywhere. And they got really famous. They only had 4 albums out, but they were really, really famous. And you just didn't know what they looked like. In fact, to this day, I could not pick out one of the members of a huge band, a very successful band. I couldn't pick them up out of a crowd at all, unless they were wearing their helmets. So I was doing a little research on them, and here was their statement to the Rolling Stones years ago. One of the guys said, "We're not performers, we're not models. It would not be enjoyable for humanity to see our features, but the robots are exciting to people." I just loved that. They just thought the robots, I don't know. This was cool to me about them. I am an anti-ego guy. I do not like ego. I do not like look at me. I don't know. That's not enjoyable to me. I don't like to hang with people who are like that. And I just thought it was really cool when I saw that, because I thought these are guys who loved making dance music. They love making music. I guess they started out making rock music, transitioned to dance music, and they were in it for that. And for 30 years, they wore masks to stick to that. And it became their persona, but they never got out of it. And it was never a point like where they won a Grammy. They won a Grammy for Album of the Year. And they didn't accept their Grammy in their faces so people could see them and say, "Oh, that's Daft Punk. Those are the guys. Look at them. Look at those 2 cool guys." They continued to wear the masks, and it was like, look, our brand, who we are, we love making music. This is our deal. This is where we're going to live. We do not need you all to take a picture of our faces and put it on Instagram and get that notoriety. I was super intrigued with that. I think that's why I like them. I will go listen to all 3.5 of the songs of theirs that I know today. They only had 4 albums in that long time, in three decades. Now they had a lot of collaborations and stuff out there, which was cool. They were cool. They were cool. So 3 decades, they break up. Now it'll be fun to find out if we ever find out why, or if it was just the end of the run for Daft Punk. Okay, there's the first story you need to know. Story number 2. And the last story we're going to get to, Idaho. Idaho, we need to talk. But first, I guess the last 2 stories would be under the category of stories you need to know. Hey, we're too big for our britches. Notre Dame, I've never liked you, and I will continue to not like you in any way. And you continue to show me more and more why I shouldn't like you. Your exclusivity club, the fact, first of all, that you decide forever, my whole growing up years, you don't need to be in a conference. You'll be independent. You'll be independent. We're about to get sportsy here for just a couple seconds. Then we're going to get very non-sportsy. But no conference. We're independent. We'll schedule whoever we want to schedule. You all, the rest of you, have to play in your conference. And if your conference is good, that's going to benefit you for a year. And if your conference is bad, well, that's going to hurt your program for a year in terms of getting notoriety for the really screwed up college football postseason. More screwed up college postseason back in the day when all this was going on with Notre Dame. Notre Dame, we're just going to play good teams if we want to. And we're going to make a schedule that will look super impressive because we don't have to follow the rules everyone else does. I hated Notre Dame from the jump when I was a kid. I just thought, that's so stupid. How is that happening? How are they allowed to play by a different set of rules than everyone else? Get out of here. And I despise Notre Dame. I think the movie Rudy is completely overrated. Get out of here. If you want a fake, phony, baloney football movie, watch Remember the Titans. Watch Varsity Blues. Watch The Replacements. I just named you 3 football movies that are ridiculous and phony baloney. 3 of them that are better than Rudy. And that was just off the top of my head. I'm sure I could think of more if I thought for more than Little Giants. 4. There's 4. You got 4 movies better than Rudy. Get out of here with your Rudy's grade. The kid would get smoked in college football. Gus. 5. That might even be number 1. That's a donkey that kicks field goals. It's better than Rudy. So Notre Dame is in the news yesterday because Electronic Arts, we had the emergency pod on this a couple weeks ago, the return in the video game world of college football, a super important sports video game in humanity, in the history of humanity, announced they were going to come back out with another game. Electronic Arts college football is going to be a thing. Huge news, ridiculously huge news. This game's going to sell 1 bazillion copies. It's going to be an enormous return. And right now they're trying to work out the kinks on how to make that game work. They are going to get college programs to give them the rights. They're going to pay colleges, I'm sure, to get the rights for their logos, their stadiums, jerseys. They just can't put the players in the game because the players are unpaid. So they can't make money off of the players' likenesses. I love that. I think that is very smart. I think that's ethically correct. I think business-wise that is correct. Electronic Arts should not benefit from the likeness of these college athletes without the college athletes getting a penny. Well, Notre Dame thinks the same thing I think, but they also think they're too big for their britches. They have told Electronic Arts, you will not use us in your game. You will not use us. We will put our foot down. Until it's figured out with the college athletes, you cannot use our shiny gold helmets and our sometimes green jerseys. Okay, good. Get out of here. You know what? You just continue to act too big for your britches. You continue to think you are bigger and better than everyone else, and I'm sick of it. And I'm so glad Electronic Arts just said, hey, guess what? Notre Dame's not in the game. Move forward. And so did everybody else, because no one cares at the end of the day whether your stupid program is in the game, Notre Dame. Would it be cool to have him in? Absolutely, because I would love beating your team 50-0. And there's a ton of Notre Dame fans out there who would love to play with Notre Dame. But I love that the internet yesterday just moved forward. I imagine Notre Dame to think it's going to be a big splash, like, wow, look at Notre Dame. We're going to figure out, we're Team Notre Dame. We're going to buy this game. But even Notre Dame fans were like, well, that's going to suck. You're not in the game, but we'll play with Pittsburgh. Congratulations, Notre Dame, on always continually thinking you're too big for your britches, but never winning anything. You can't act like that until you are a winner, until your britches are actually big. Because right now, your britches aren't that big. What have you won? Did they even win bowl games? I don't think they do. I think they got smoked in the college football playoff this year. Alabama is the school that can do this. Clemson would be the school that can do this. If they want to make a splash, if Notre Dame wants to make a splash, they need to convince an actual good college football team to do this. Then that would make a splash. Then Notre Dame could say, hey, we told Clemson not to be in the game, and they listened to us. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Get out of here, Notre Dame. Okay, the britches being too big. We need to have a talk, Idaho. We need to have a talk. We need to make sure you stay in your lane. We need to make sure you figure it out, because what happened yesterday and why North Idaho made national headlines was hilarious and ridiculous and the most embarrassing to our area. I laughed so hard when I saw this. So I'm perusing the news last night, and Idaho is on national headlines. And I thought, well, let's see what's going on in North Idaho. And North Idaho decided, a bar called the Corner Bar decided to post this on Facebook over the weekend. I'm just going to read it word for word. I'm going to interject a couple times. Hello, everyone, and happy Sunday. For the past few weeks, Linda, Keith, myself, and Diane have discussed not accepting, EXCEPTING, not accepting like they wanted, accepting Washington driver's licenses due to the inconsiderate and rudeness of people that have been through our establishment and our fellow neighbors downtown. There's a lot wrong with this, including just grammar. I mean, we start with this. Can we everyone just take one moment right now? This is Sean Widmer Teaches Grammar. It is my least favorite grammatical error right now. I don't care if you mix up your theirs at all. I don't care if you mix up your yours. But the word myself is so bad. Can we learn about the word myself for a second? Myself is to be used when you are the object of your own action. This is the only time you need to use myself. I took the trash out. Myself. I fell and hurt. Myself. I wrote a book. Myself. I wrote that book myself. That is when you use myself. You never, ever need to use myself at any other time. And if you do, you just sound dumb. Well, Jerry and myself are going to go out and we're going to go hit golf balls. Sorry, you're wrong. Many things with the word me, myself, and I. It always comes second. Always. You do not put it first. It's not I and Jerry. Me and Jerry are going to go do something. It is Jerry and me. Okay, that's what it is. And it's definitely not Jerry and myself. As soon as I saw the myself, I knew that this place was dumb. So the Corner Bar goes on to say, in order to help prevent any more crap and chaos, we will not be accepting. Again, it's accepting. It's not accepting. We will not be accepting any Washington licenses until further notice. This is as of today, Sunday, February 21st. Thanks for your time. And remember, when you're at everybody's establishment, keep an eye out and help people out when someone is being a dumbass winky face. Okay, to me, it sounds like they're promoting bar fights, but here's the deal. North Idaho Bar, the Corner Club. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Don't be Notre Dame. Stay in your lane. I get it. You've got some very beautiful scenery, and North Idaho does. And I love North Idaho. Anytime I've gone to Coeur d'Alene on a date, I've had a very enjoyable time. My bachelor party was in North Idaho. We had a great time. The city of Sandpoint, gold stars, all the gold stars, cool place. You've got great ski spots. Okay? North Idaho brings a lot of beauty, excuse me, a lot of beauty to our area. Again, Coeur d'Alene Lake is so cool. Pend Oreille Lake is beautiful. The mountains there are great. But Idaho, that's what you have, and that's it, okay? And maybe you just know your role, and you stay part of the mix, because what makes us magical up here is the mix, not the individual moment, not the individual place. Because here's the unfortunate part for you, North Idaho. Eastern Washington and Montana have just as pretty of places, especially Montana, and they're right next to you. And that's part of, again, the mix. Spokane and in Eastern Washington, we have some very beautiful places, but I'll defend you on this one, Idaho. You have prettier places than some of the prettiest places in Eastern Washington overall. I will say that north of Spokane, up by Ione and Medellin Falls, is more beautiful than you, Idaho. So sorry, but I guess you would have that up by Sandpoint, right? So we can tie. Montana beats us both. They're the prettiest, but we bring a lot to the table, including Costco, business, places to go shopping, sports. We've got the Cougs, who have right now an awesomely fun basketball team, by the way. Shout out Cougs. A good football team. We have the number one basketball team in America, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And this is just in Eastern Washington, because I don't even want to go across the mountains where you're going to find your only professional sports teams, that being the Kraken and the Seahawks, and you're going to find a minor league baseball team that plays in the bigs with the Seattle Mariners. We also have minor league baseball. Spokane Indians play here. There's too much Eastern Washington brings to the table for Corner Club to expect or accept whatever they said. Accept, not accept, spelled the wrong way. People from Washington in their bar. A bar in Idaho, a bar in a state, in a United State, the United States of America, a bar is not allowing other Americans to buy their stuff because of an imaginary line in the country. Can we take a moment to understand that for 1 second? Can we sink into the stupidity of that? Think about that. This is why it made national headlines, because it's only in North Idaho that this is happening. I just can't even believe it. Think about if this happened somewhere else. Think about it in New York. All of a sudden, a bar in New York is like, look, if you have a Pennsylvania driver's license, you can't come here because we don't like you. Well, that place would be gone like Thanos style. Snap, dust, goodbye. It's why it made national headlines. So North Idaho, congratulations for being in the news. I'm telling you, stay in your lane. I don't know what's going on. North Idaho in the last year has had such a big deal with they suddenly hate everyone. They are the most unified. We are here, and it's North Idaho. It's the skinniest part of America, like just in terms of the state. I don't know if what they think they are, because I feel like they act like they're Texas. This huge state that's big and makes this big splash in terms of the entirety of the country. It's the skinny top part of Idaho. And again, it sucks because that's a good place. And I would highly recommend anyone who's listening to go visit there and hang there because it is gorgeous. They've got cool stuff there. If you're a skier or snowboarder, it might not get better than that outside of Colorado. It's awesome. But the attitude needs to get in check, like figure it out, because I still want the western part of Washington to be the biggest tools in our area. That needs to remain the status quo. We need the people on the coast of Washington to remain the weirdos. Don't steal that from them, Idaho, because none of us need that in this part of the world. None of us need that in the inland Northwest. We need to stay with our good mix. Eastern Washington, North Idaho, Western Montana need to stay united as cool. But right now, And in the last year, North Idaho is trying to steal that title from Western Washington, and I don't know how to process that. Okay, I've gone too long. It's been 20 minutes. Those are the 3 stories you need to know. I wanted to do a Kelly's What Are You Into today, but in the middle of all this, I forgot what I was into. I guess we'll say Kelly's What Are You Into is the fact that I'm at home today broadcasting and I get my own coffee. And home, you're outside of a barista making your coffee at a coffee stand. Home coffee is better than road coffee. And so I've been making coffee on the road in the studio for the last week. And today I get my own home coffee. Whew, it is so much better. So I'm happy to be home with my coffee. Have a great day, everyone. Hey, don't forget the reviews on iTunes. We're pushing them. We're trying to get to 100 reviews on iTunes by the end of the year. Would love the help there. Also, the video for the podcast are up on YouTube if that's something you're into. I don't know how long I'm going to continue to do that because it is a little bit of extra work, and I get like 4 views on them. So we'll see. We'll see if those continue or not. And finally, there was one other thing I wanted to say, and I don't remember what it is. So that's what we're going to end it today. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, yeah, my social medias. At Sean T. Widmer. They're down on the video. I'll point to them. At Sean T. Widmer on Instagram. At Sean T. Widmer on Twitter. Please feel free to hit me up on those and let me know what you think of the podcast. I would appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone.